Having logged 349 miles or 561k during the month of July, which is my biggest mileage month ever, I aim to wrap up this 9-week threshold block with a bang by aiming to hit one of my highest mileage weeks ever. Consistency over the past 9 weeks has been fantastic, and it's led to some solid fitness gains as I prepare to lock in for the final marathon specific phase. But how will the week go? And will I manage to get through this final week unscathed and wrap up with this summer of mileage strong? Let's find out. So welcome to hopefully the biggest build week of this marathon block so far. I started with a 60 miler, I locked into 275s, dropped back down to another 60 with a bit of a down period, and then the last 3 weeks have been 75, 73, 75, and last week in particular we hit 80. This is some of the highest mileage I've ever hit, and I'm excited to take you guys on the journey this week of how it all pans out before a down week next week, and then of course locking in to marathon mode. And a quick update from today, it's Monday, so easy and hill strides. Over the last few weeks I've been doing the hill strides. I missed it a couple of times, whether I've overslept or I don't know, just haven't done them, but for the most part I have, and I'm just taking my Mondays easy. Previous blocks have been steady Mondays. During this block with the higher miles I've dialed it back to easy. It's meant that I've squeezed more out of the sessions that I've been doing, and the hill strides have really helped make me feel sharp and keep that turnover high, because obviously marathon training is a bit more plodding, and in the training I've been doing, which is a bit more controlled, there's also a bit more plodding. So we'll get this one done. So good morning, it's raining cats and dogs today, Tuesday, 5x2k in the morning. This is the last double threshold session of this block. Down week next week, and then we are changing things up. So this hopefully today, after this week, will be 9 successful weeks of double threshold training. I'm not going to do too much talking today because it's raining quite hard, or it will be in a minute, and the microphone is going to get blocked up. So I'm just going to get this one done, and hopefully we'll have better weather for later. So let's get this one underway. One thing to note this morning, I'm looking at the heart rate. It is lovely and low. Cooler temps today, 20 degrees, rain, it's working well. So welcome to the evening session, 25 by 400, and this is the second time today I've gone out of the house with my glasses on and just can't be bothered to go back and put them away. So we're going to be running with misty vision tonight. Normally I would do the 400s out here in Linear Park, but because of today's weather it has made the ground a little bit soft. If you remember back from 2 weeks ago, we were up in the woods behind up there trying to do some 800s, and similar type of weather just made the ground a little bit too soft to get some good traction. I just felt like I was working too hard, even though I couldn't get my heart rate up, and I was just hitting nowhere near the heart rate I needed to, or the paces. So we're going to be taking this one out on to the industrial estate. Also limited filming tonight. I mentally struggle with the 400s. I seem to be alright with the Ks, even the 800s to be fair, but the thought of 25 always kind of yeah, it puts me off a little bit. Even though it's controlled, it's still a bit of an arduous task to get them done. So I'm just going to get the 2 mile warm-up done, and we're going to roll straight into it. There we go, 2 miles. Let's hit the lap and let's go. Right, 8 done, no sorry, 10 done. Don't do yourself out of 2 reps. So 15 to go, If there's ever been a headwind tailwind situation, it's now. The odd numbers are lovely, the even numbers not so much. There we go, 20 done, 5 to go. Wind has died down a little bit in the last few, so going out isn't quite as cruisy, but coming back isn't quite as arduous. Finding the groove finally. There we go, got it done, 25 by 400. Things opened up in the last 10, thankfully. The skies cleared, the wind died down, and it's now time for a 2-mile cool down. This is one of those ones that I just did not want to do. My head wasn't really there. Stressful day, came out here, came onto the estate, headwind, tailwind, and I just, in those first 10, I was like, man, I'm clocking 520s that way, but some of them are hitting 540s this way, and it's just really demoralising. But you're stuck at it, got over halfway, fueled well, gel before, gel at 8, gel at 16, and yeah, thankfully the weather picked up a bit. That meant that I could get more of a true effort on both ways. It is gently up this way and gently down that way, but it was nice to have more even splits. And in the end, in the last 5, I finished strong, felt good. Finally got the heart rate up to 163, 164 where it should have been, because it just was not getting anywhere near that in the first 15 really. And yeah, overall we got it banked. So let's roll straight in to Thursday. Rest day yesterday as per normal, as per every other week, and we're now into the second half of the week. 20 by 200 meter hills today, and just like the double threshold, this is the last one. And I think out of all of the sessions in the week, I'm going to miss these the most. I've really enjoyed doing the hills. I've said it before on the channel, I'll say it again. I made a pact with myself earlier in the year not just to do hills once a year. I found them so effective earlier in the year, and so I stuck with them during this block, and lo and behold, I'm in good shape. And I know that's down to a multitude of factors, but I'm not going to rule out the fact that the hills have played a major part in just in general feeling strong. So we're heading on down there now. So here we go for one last time. The hill. Sad, but no time to waste. Let's get on with it. Oh my life, look at this thing. Oh my god. Wow, that was insane. Well, it's done, it's banked, we move on. That was a strong session, but the goal with those is just to add a little bit of strength in to your week, and yeah, just keep it relatively controlled. Got to be honest with you, by rep 13 or 14, I was struggling, and it was at a point where I thought, for the first time in all these weeks doing it, am I going to finish this? And that should not be the objective of that session. It should just be controlled hills. I got it done, but it wasn't pretty, it wasn't pleasant. I probably lost about 2 kilos in water weight, so I'm going to go home, drink a lot, eat a lot, and I'll see you later. Right, and it is now easy run time. So the hill session definitely took a bit more out of me than I'd have liked, but I've restocked, refueled, drunk way too much water today, and feel good tonight. We're out with Lee once again. Thursday night is our group run. No James this week, hopefully he's back soon. I'm just going to click over 6 or 7 miles to see what happens tonight. It's still just as humid, but easy paces make it feel a bit more bearable. So we'll get this one done and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so here we go. It is Friday, another easy day. I was going to say the shortest run of the week, the shortest single run of the week. 60 minutes easy today, just like last night, just out here getting some easy miles banked ready for tomorrow's long run. And thought of the day, as I always have them on Friday, strength training is key when you start pushing above 60-mile weeks. I kind of feel like between 50 to 60 is a sweet spot for a lot of people running singles and maybe one double, and I feel like you can kind of get away with 50 to 60s. The second you start to step up into the realm of 70s and 80s and you're running like me 7 times a week, 2 doubles, 5 days a week, I really feel that strength training is required. My focus for the last 6 to 12 months has pretty much been 1 core workout a week, 2 upper back, because obviously that's my weakness, and it's held me strong really well. But actually I think it needs to swap around, and I might start swapping it around to 2 core and 1 upper back. I find, especially on the fatigued days like last night, sometimes on the Tuesday night, and even today to be fair, I can find that my pelvis doesn't kind of feel as strong. I don't feel like it's my epicenter, the linchpin of the body, making things work really smoothly. I sometimes feel like it's a little bit loose and I'm just running fatigued and it's going a bit up, down, left, right, side to side, if that makes sense. And then it kind of puts a bit, it doesn't put a strain, I don't ever feel like I'm straining anything, but it just doesn't feel as smooth. And although 1 core session a week has served me well for a very long time, I'm wondering if I just need to work on that extra stabilization in that midriff area. So yeah, that might be something that I change up after my down week, moving into the marathon specific phase. So there we go, that's my thought for the day. We'll get the 60 minutes done. As I said, I feel strong this morning, but last night, got to be honest, felt like I was rocking and rolling all over the place. So I think that's going to be addressed. Get this done and I'll see you tomorrow for the long run. So here we go, Saturday, let's wrap this week up. A lovely 21 degrees, sweating at buckets, bit of wind. It is hot, or it feels hot I should say, but we're heading to the cycle trail as we have been, so we'll be seeking some shade shortly. And you know the drill with these by now, fueling every 20 minutes, 4x3k, just aiming to get 12k worth of intensity done, and that is that. No need to change anything. The progressive plan comes after I get back from my down week, so let's get into this one. So the goal today, just before we get in to the reps, so in the build up I said all of this in last week's long run video, so if you missed that I will leave a link at the end of this video to check that one out so you can see my thought process in a bit more detail. But up to the build up of last week, I've been taking the moderates relatively steady, 6:55-ish per mile, and being quite chill on the reps. And then last week I said from week 12 down to 8, before I get specific, I'm going to start to turn the screw a bit on these ones, and I had a good one last weekend, although I will say I definitely burnt too many matches in that first 2 reps. So the last couple were tough, and the moderate, I'm going to say cool down, the miles home, were really hard. So I'm trying to find a middle ground today. Right, 5 miles ticked over, 6:47, absolutely perfect. There we go, 5:58. Job's a good one. Happy with that, exactly where I wanted it to be. Now for Mount Everest. Pace before we turn up Mount Everest, 5:51, really good. .6:14, that's decent. We're really happy with that. This one's going to be interesting, heating up, but kept control on that one, so hopefully we can do well in 3 and 4. There we go, 6:09, perfect. I think I'm about 6 seconds off a mile from last week. It was 6:03 or 6:05, but yeah, that was strong and felt good too. Last one. And there we go, 6:09 for that one as well. So just like last week, where I went 6:03, 6:03 or 6:05, 6:05, whatever it was, today 6:09, 6:09. And the great thing about today is it was a lot more even splitted. So 5:58, 14, and then 6:09, 6:09, and that's great. And actually, if you watched the long run video last week, or if you haven't, you can watch it after this one, you'll see I was pretty done in, and so the thought of doing a moderate finish was not pleasant, but feel fine today. So yeah, definitely better pacing, worked hard, which is exactly what I wanted. So it's definitely been a step up from previous weeks. Last week was a good test, really pushed it. Today, pushed it, but a lot more controlled. So there we go, we are just about wrapping this up. 1 hour 54, just coming up at the bottom there. 3, 2, 1. So 6 minutes left to just get to the end. And yeah, the cool down, or the steady finish, is faster than last week. So all in all, a slightly slower steady warm up, more controlled reps, faster finish, very pleasing. And that caps off the biggest week of this build. Second week over 80, and we are, as of tomorrow, 11 weeks out. So time for a down week, and then we really lock in when we get back. I appreciate you guys following along with this one. That was a 6:34 mile, very pleasing. Like and subscribe, do all that good stuff. See if I can get the side right this time. I'll pop a couple of videos on screen. First of all, the long run that I mentioned from last week, and if you like that one, maybe this one down here as well. And hopefully I'll see you guys over on one of those.